Training camp has concluded and the preseason is underway. How are the Rams looking on their injury report? In this video, we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to do a reaction to a brief video by Mike Florio, timestamps below. Hello, Ramley and other NFL family. Payo time, you're a Canadian Rams fan. And yeah, there's a lot of speculation right now about the Los Angeles Rams and their injury report. If we look here on ESPN.com, it has Warren McClellan, offensive lineman, rookie Levinston, who's a guard, offensive lineman, Puka Nacua, star wide receiver, second year. He's there. Sean McVay did say on Tuesday that there's no threat of Nacua missing week 1 at Detroit, but they're probably going to use him sparingly. Jonah Jackson, probably the one of the most concerned from what I've been hearing. The big free agent guard acquisition from the Lions brought over here to the Rams. He got injured earlier in camp. Big Rob Havenstance, who's just been sturdy his whole career at the right tackle position. He has a foot injury, so definitely we'll concentrate on him. Alaric Jackson, left tackle for the Rams, banged up. Darius Williams, a cornerback, banged up. Tyler Higbee, and not on this report is Darian Kendrick, who did unfortunately have a season-ending ACL. But all this to say, this isn't what you want to see at any point in the season, but definitely in the in training camp season and preseason, you don't want to see injuries piling up. Now, before I get into Mike Florio's video here, I just want to say this. I believe that all of these will be okay. There's no reason outside of Darian Kendrick, who again, it's unfortunate that he got a season-ending ACL, but out of these, we are still waiting on updates on Higbee. We're still waiting on updates on really all of these players, but as of right now, I don't think there's been enough reports that would make us think any of these players won't be ready for week 1 versus Detroit. Now, I do want to bring in Mike Florio because recently I've actually started to kind of enjoy him and his new format with Pro Football Talk. And so, yeah, just listen. He makes an interesting point here, and then we'll talk about it after it.
The Rams are having a rash of injuries. Over the weekend, we had an item about multiple offensive linemen who are week to week. And the difference between day to day and week to week, I think, is significant. Day to day, hey, you could be back any day. Week to week, you could be back any week. You could miss 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The latest, beyond the offensive line, star receiver Puka Nacua, week to week with a knee injury. And it's described as not serious, but it's week to week. Look, there are degrees of serious. Anytime you are out for at least a week and might be out for another week and might be out for another week, and it's being determined 1 week at a time, that to me is serious. It's not season ending, but it's not a good situation for the Rams. And this is one of the reasons why all that time we spend in the offseason talking about how this team is going to be, how that team is going to be, how's that team going to be, how are they going to be? Injuries can change everything.
He brings up a good point. I do think he is being a little bit of a hot take journalist there to an extent, but he brings up the point of how significant is it week to week as opposed to day. I would challenge him on this, that week to week for the Rams in this situation is, well, we probably weren't going to play many of our starters in preseason anyway. So we're going to label them week to week because that's the way that we're going to manage their recovery from these injuries that they've sustained. So, and again, I'm not a trainer expert or anything like that, but in my interpretation from hearing Sean McVay, Mike LaFleur, Chris Shula, any of the Rams coaching staff, that's kind of how I interpret it, as when they said week to week, it has to do with more how they, with the player, the training staff, how they're deciding to manage these injuries. I don't think it's so much a comment on the severity of the injury at all. Now, the question does remain, are any of these players at risk of missing week 1 versus Detroit? Out of the list, personally, I I'm most concerned about Jonah Jackson at the top of that, and probably Tyler Higbee. But again, we're like Higbee's recovering from a major injury last season. But we still need more information about Darius William and his hamstring. Alaric Jackson and Rob Havenstance, we still need some more information on them. Puka Nacua, we've gotten information that it's week to week and that he's not in any threat of missing week 1. So I'm okay to to believe Sean McVay at that. There is the concern of, is Puka Nacua's injury going to be lingering all season long and perhaps limit him in some capacity. So we'll see. But Warren McClellan and Levinson definitely, or KT Levinson, still curious of where they're kind of at. They are offensive line depth piece, but again, guys, look at this laundry list of injuries here, and we're not even at the preseason yet. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 O linemen, and that's not what you want. Because we know that if the O-line is banged up and you're just signing guys off the street, it is really hard to win games in the NFL. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, especially if you're watching to the end of the video. And as always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. And check out the Pick'em League contest information below.